back. So first, we're going to kick off with the Livable Streets inquiry. Last week, Andrew and I talked about the the idea of us going area by areas, but this week we're just going to go through the details of it. And the details is that we're going to have 4 hearings, and the first one we're going to kick it off is basically in Wapping, Thursday the 25th of February 2021. So these are Zoom meetings where Andrew and I and Rabina, who's going to join us, we're going to hold a panel, hopefully aided by experts, just to hear your point of view as residents, virtual hearings. So the first one's going to be Wapping, Thursday 25th of February 2021. Then we're going to go to Bethnal Green, Weavers, Wards and St. Peter's, Thursday 18th of March 2020, and then move to Bow, the Roman Road area, Thursday 8th of April. And then finally, we're going to hit Shadwell and Whitechapel on the 20th of May. And the idea is to get your views as residents as to what you feel is wrong with the way the consultation has been done, the way these schemes have been implemented. Do you feel that you've been discriminated against? Do you feel that you haven't had your input?
Find out what the impact is on people's actually daily lives, because these are potentially big changes, and you want to find out what your experience of them is. And so, for example, I've been reading this week a very interesting report by an organization called Transport for All, which is basically a sort of disabled organization, and they basically talk to disabled people across the UK. And they wrote this report called Pave the Way. And and the findings from that are really interesting. And sort of disabled people themselves, some are supportive of this and some are anti this. But what they also report is actually just how polarized opinions are within the disabled community on this. And that reflects the wider community. I think we need to find some way past that polarization and that division and find a common way forward that's within the law, which I think is another key point in the coming weeks.
Well, there's a recent judgment with Camden Council where they quashed their livable street scheme because it was brought by a disabled resident who said that it discriminated against them on the basis of disability and age. And then you've had Sutton Council roll back their program. So it seems like council after council, following the TfL judgment, are reviewing their schemes and seems like holding the opinion that the way they've been rolled out has been illegal.
My concern is that the way in which this was done and the speed that this was done may, and I emphasize the word may, have broken the law. And certainly we saw that with the Transport for London scheme, where they lost in the High Court to the taxi drivers. And there's some observations about that as well. I think, a key point to make is, for example, the disabled community, they do support LTNs and some of the changes which LTNs are kind of bringing in terms of increase of independence and easier and more pleasant journeys. But they also detail the negative impacts on disabled residents. And reality in this country is that we have laws to protect people. And we also have laws to protect disabled people. So you can't just ride roughshod over those. You have to follow the law and all of the guidance on that. And our concern about the process of how this has been undertaken makes me worried about whether we've taken some of these considerations into account or not. And the end output of this, whatever we do, has to be done within both the letter and the spirit of the law.